The year is 1969. The world watches in awe as Neil Armstrong steps off the lunar module and plants his boot into the moon's powdery surface. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. A moment etched into history. A triumph of human ingenuity. But was it really just that? Or was there something deeper, something far more secretive happening behind the scenes? Ask yourself, why would two of the most powerful nations on Earth, locked in a Cold War threatening global annihilation, sink billions into a race to reach a lifeless barren rock? Why risk catastrophic failure, humiliation, or worse? What if it wasn't about exploration or national pride at all? What if it was about uncovering something that had been hidden from humanity for millennia? Something the moon itself has been guarding? For years, whispers have circulated. Whispers of strange anomalies on the moon's surface, structures that seem anything but natural. Whispers of classified missions, of photographs doctored to hide the truth, of astronauts who saw more than they were allowed to speak about. And then there's the timing. The explosion of UFO sightings after World War II. The government's sudden obsession with outer space. The frantic rush to the moon. Coincidence? Or a cover-up? Some say the space race wasn't a battle of ideologies. It wasn't about proving capitalism or communism superior. No, it was a desperate attempt to seize something far more significant. Could it be that the US and USSR weren't just racing to get there first? They were racing to recover technology? Alien technology. And here's the part that will keep you up at night. Look closely at the timeline. Before Sputnik, before the first rockets pierced Earth's atmosphere, there were stories, accounts of unidentified flying objects, unexplained phenomena, strange crashes in places like Roswell. The government's official stance? Weather balloons. The unofficial stance? A scramble to reverse engineer something not of this world. Was the space race really about supremacy, or was it a facade for a far more clandestine operation? Consider this. The moon has existed for billions of years, untouched, unclaimed. But suddenly, in the span of a few short decades, humanity becomes obsessed with it. Why? What changed? Could it be that something was discovered? Something that couldn't be ignored? A signal, perhaps? A structure? Evidence of a presence that predates us. The Apollo program is celebrated as a testament to human achievement. But what if the story we've been told is only half the truth? What if the astronauts were not just explorers, but couriers? What if the missions weren't just about planting a flag, but retrieving something? There are reports, declassified snippets of conversations, eerie remarks from the astronauts themselves that suggest they encountered things no one was prepared for. Did they see something? Did they find something? And if they did, what did they bring back? These questions aren't just speculation. They're rooted in anomalies, in evidence, in the gaps of the official narrative. Why, after all these years, has no one returned to the moon? Why does NASA still tightly control what images we see, what data is shared? What are they hiding? The moon landing was the crowning achievement of the 20th century. But what if it was also the most carefully crafted smokescreen of all time? The real question isn't just how we got there. It's why, and who, or what, we were racing against. Let's explore the evidence, uncover the secrets, and dive into a story that might change everything you think you know about the space race. Could the moon hold the answers to one of humanity's greatest mysteries? Stick with us and decide for yourself. Let me know if this longer version works for you or if you'd like me to adjust further before moving to the next section. To understand the space race, we have to go back to a world on the brink of transformation. It's the late 1940s, and the dust of World War II is still settling. Two new superpowers emerge, staring each other down across ideological lines, the United States and the Soviet Union. The Cold War begins, and with it comes an arms race unlike anything humanity had ever seen. Nuclear weapons, espionage, propaganda. Every move was a calculated step in a global chess game for dominance. But then, something strange happened. While tensions boiled on Earth, both nations suddenly turned their eyes upward toward the stars. Why? What changed? It wasn't just curiosity. There was urgency, a frantic energy to be first. Not just to orbit, not just to the moon, but to dominate the final frontier. On October 4, 1957, the Soviets shocked the world with the launch of Sputnik, the first artificial satellite. A small metal sphere, barely bigger than a beach ball, but its message was deafening. The USSR had the capability to send objects into space. And if they could send satellites, what else could they send? The US scrambled to respond. President Eisenhower created NASA in 1958, pouring money and resources into catching up. But was this just about technological pride? Or was something driving both nations? Something they weren't telling us? Now let's add another layer to the story. Just a decade earlier, in 1947, something crashed near Roswell, New Mexico. Officially, it was a weather balloon. But unofficially? The incident sparked an explosion of UFO sightings across the globe. Reports of strange craft in the skies became so widespread that the US government launched investigations like Project Blue Book to study them. Was this sudden interest in space tied to what people were seeing in the skies? And did Sputnik signal more than just technological advancement? Was it a warning, a message meant to reach something out there? The timing is almost too perfect to ignore. In the years following World War II, whispers began circulating about advanced German technology, crafts capable of flight beyond anything Allied forces could comprehend. Some say the Nazis were developing anti-gravity devices, allegedly with help from unconventional sources. Alien sources. When the war ended, the US and the Soviets raced to capture Nazi scientists under a covert operation called Project Paperclip. Among them was Wernher von Braun, the architect of the American space program. Was von Braun's brilliance purely human genius, or did he have access to knowledge we're not privy to? By the 1960s, the space race was in full swing. Rockets were launched, satellites deployed, and the dream of landing on the moon became a national obsession. But consider this: if the primary goal was scientific exploration, why was so much of the space program shrouded in secrecy? Why were billions of dollars funneled into classified projects under the guise of Cold War defense? What were they really looking for? The US and USSR wanted to conquer space, yes, but it wasn't just about proving ideological superiority. It was about control. Control of what? That's the question. Were they seeking resources? Strategic positioning? Or were they after something entirely different? Something ancient? Something alien? The public was dazzled by images of rockets piercing the heavens, but behind closed doors, the real race was taking place in laboratories, intelligence agencies, and secret government facilities. While the world marveled at the technology, insiders whispered about reverse-engineered spacecraft, unexplained anomalies, and missions that were anything but routine. The space race wasn't just a battle for the stars. It was a race against time, against secrecy, and perhaps against something far beyond human comprehension. What were they trying to find? And why was it so urgent? Let's dig deeper. The answers may be hidden in the moon's shadows, or perhaps in the minds of those who first reached for it. The moon, Earth's silent companion, has been a source of wonder for centuries. Its surface is a patchwork of craters, vast plains, and jagged mountains. But look closer, and strange questions emerge. Why does the moon's near side, the one we always see, look so different from its far side? Why is its orbit so precise, its relationship to Earth so perfectly balanced? For years, scientists have studied these questions, but some believe the answers lie far outside conventional explanations. In the decades following the space race, anomalies began to surface. Anomalies that raised eyebrows among researchers and conspiracy theorists alike. High-resolution images taken during Apollo missions revealed structures that seemed unnatural. Craters with unnervingly symmetrical shapes. Dome-like features that resembled the remnants of ancient constructions. And perhaps most famously, the face on the moon, a formation that appeared to stare back at Earth from the lunar surface. Was it just a trick of light and shadow, or evidence of intelligent design? Notable researchers such as Richard C. Hoagland have argued that these features could be remnants of ancient civilizations, or even bases left behind by extraterrestrial visitors. NASA has dismissed such claims, attributing them to pareidolia, the human tendency to see patterns where none exist. But if that's true, why do some images appear to show structures so geometrically precise that they defy natural explanation? Let's turn back to the Cold War for a moment. After World War II, Operation Paperclip brought Nazi scientists, including Wernher von Braun, into the American space program. These weren't just engineers, they were men rumored to have worked on technologies far ahead of their time, technologies that some claim were inspired by otherworldly sources. Could von Braun and his team have known something we don't? Could they have been searching for something they believed was left behind on the moon? The Soviets, too, were deeply invested in lunar exploration. While NASA focused on manned missions, the USSR launched a series of robotic probes under the Luna program. They mapped the moon's surface, collected samples, and sent back images. But what exactly were they looking for? Some believe the Soviets weren't just exploring, they were searching. Searching for what? Artifacts? Evidence? Or perhaps confirmation of theories their scientists already suspected? Then there's the question of materials. Allegations have surfaced over the years that samples brought back from the moon contained isotopes not found on Earth. NASA has publicly denied these claims, stating that all lunar material can be explained within the context of known science. But insiders and whistleblowers have hinted at something different. Materials with properties so advanced they could revolutionize energy production, propulsion systems, and even weaponry. Could this have been the real reason for the frantic race to the moon? One particularly compelling theory involves helium-3, a rare isotope found in abundance on the moon's surface. Scientists have long speculated that helium-3 could be the key to a new era of clean, virtually limitless energy. But here's the catch. Helium-3 isn't just valuable for energy. It could also power advanced propulsion systems, the kind necessary for interstellar travel. If an alien civilization once mined the moon for this resource, would they have left traces behind? And could the space race have been about securing this material before the other side could? Even more unsettling are the claims from former NASA contractors who allege that lunar images were altered before being released to the public. Airbrushed photographs, missing records, and redacted files, all suggesting that what we see is only part of the story. If there's nothing to hide, why the secrecy? The moon has been a silent witness to Earth's history, but perhaps it holds secrets of its own. Secrets that challenge everything we think we know about human history, about our place in the universe, and about the real reason we've never gone back. Were the Apollo missions an act of exploration or excavation? And if they found something, why hasn't the world been told? These questions lead us to the Apollo program itself. The missions that captured the imagination of the world may also hold the keys to unraveling this mystery. What did they see? What did they find? And most importantly, what aren't they telling us? July 20th, 1969. Apollo 11 touches down on the moon's Sea of Tranquility, and Neil Armstrong takes those historic first steps. To the world, it was a moment of unity, a triumph of science and courage. But behind the scenes, was there another story unfolding? One shrouded in secrecy and silence? The Apollo program was publicly framed as a series of exploratory missions. Collect lunar samples, test new technologies, beat the Soviets to the moon. But was that the full story? Some researchers argue that these missions had a second classified objective: to investigate unexplained anomalies on the lunar surface and recover anything of interest. Let's start with the mission itself. What's often overlooked is the intense level of secrecy surrounding Apollo 11. Communications between the astronauts and mission control were broadcast live, except for certain moments when a private line was activated. NASA claimed this was to address potential emergencies without alarming the public. But what if those private lines were used to discuss things too shocking for the world to hear? Consider this. During Apollo 11, both Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin reported seeing flashes of light and objects moving outside the lunar module. These observations were documented but never fully explained. In later interviews, Buzz Aldrin hinted at the possibility of unidentified flying objects near the spacecraft, though he stopped short of confirming anything explicitly. What were they seeing? Space debris? Optical illusions? Or something far more extraordinary? The anomalies didn't end there. Transcripts from Apollo missions contain cryptic remarks, references to Santa Claus and bogies. Officially, these were dismissed as playful code words or harmless banter. But others believe these terms were used to describe something real. UFOs? Were the astronauts trying to communicate a discovery without breaking the veil of secrecy? And then there's the footage. Over 50 years later, conspiracy theories persist about the moon landing being faked, with claims of staged sets, inconsistent lighting, and missing stars in the sky. While most experts attribute these discrepancies to technical limitations or misunderstandings, some suggest an alternate theory. The footage was staged not because the moon landing didn't happen, but because what was actually found couldn't be shown to the public. Perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from the astronauts themselves. Edgar Mitchell, the sixth man to walk on the moon, became a vocal advocate for UFO disclosure in his later years. He claimed that government officials knew about extraterrestrial life, and that Apollo missions uncovered evidence supporting this. Could Mitchell have been hinting at something he saw, or something he was told, during his time at NASA? The secrecy doesn't stop with the astronauts. NASA itself has faced accusations of altering or withholding information. Whistleblowers have claimed that photographs from Apollo missions were airbrushed to remove evidence of artificial structures. Others allege that samples brought back from the moon contained materials that defied scientific explanation, only to vanish into classified research programs. One particularly chilling theory suggests that Apollo 11's primary mission wasn't just to land on the moon, but to retrieve something. What could that have been? An artifact? A piece of technology? Or evidence that humanity is not alone? And if they did bring something back, what happened to it? Where is it now? Was it locked away in a secret facility, reverse engineered in a black-budget program, or quietly destroyed to keep it from the public? For decades, the official narrative of Apollo 11 has been celebrated as a moment of human triumph. But could it also be a carefully constructed cover story? The astronauts may have been heroes, but were they also witnesses to something they could never speak of? The unanswered questions only deepen the mystery. What were they looking for? What did they find? And why, after the triumph of Apollo, has humanity never returned? The answers may lie not just in the missions we remember, but in the details we've been told to forget. The story of Apollo 11 isn't over. It's just beginning. If the Apollo missions were about more than exploration, then what were they really after? One theory looms larger than the rest: the search for alien technology. Technology that could change the course of history, or, in the wrong hands, decide the fate of humanity. Let's start with what we know. In the decades following World War II, the U.S. government began pouring billions into secretive programs, often referred to as the black budget. These programs are funded without public oversight, their true purpose is hidden under layers of bureaucracy and classification. Officially, these funds supported advanced weapons research and defense systems. But could they also have been used to study recovered alien technology? One name frequently emerges in these discussions: Bob Lazar. Lazar, a physicist who worked at a site near Area 51, claimed he was part of a team tasked with reverse engineering extraterrestrial spacecraft. According to Lazar, these craft contain propulsion systems unlike anything on Earth, powered by a mysterious element not found in our natural environment. Critics have dismissed Lazar's story as fantasy, but some of his claims, like the existence of element 115, which wasn't officially synthesized until years after his revelations, have added credibility to his account. Now consider the moon. If alien technology did crash to Earth, is it so far-fetched to believe similar artifacts could exist on our nearest celestial neighbor? The moon has remained geologically inactive for billions of years. its surface undisturbed by weather or erosion. It's the perfect vault, preserving anything left behind by an advanced civilization. But what if the moon itself is part of the puzzle? Some researchers have noted peculiarities in its composition and orbit, suggesting it may not be entirely natural. Its density, its precise size relative to the Earth and Sun, and its strange hollow echoes when struck, all fuel theories that the moon might be an artificial structure. If true, what could this mean? Could the moon have been placed there intentionally? And if so, by whom, and for what purpose? The black budget isn't just about funding secret projects. It's also about controlling the flow of information. For years, whistleblowers have claimed that discoveries from the Apollo missions, including potential evidence of alien technology, were funneled into classified programs. These programs, shielded from public scrutiny, might hold the key to advanced propulsion systems, energy sources, or materials far beyond our current understanding. The stakes weren't just high for the US. The Soviets were just as eager to unlock the secrets of alien technology. Throughout the Cold War, there were rumors of Soviet expeditions designed to rival Apollo, not just for political supremacy, but to ensure they weren't left behind in a race for otherworldly power. The Luna program, which sent robotic probes to the moon, was officially a scientific endeavor. But were these probes also scouting for something more? And then there's the Black Knight satellite, a mysterious object that some claim has been orbiting Earth for thousands of years. NASA insists it's nothing more than space debris, but others believe it's an ancient alien satellite, monitoring Earth from above. Could its discovery have influenced the urgency of the space race? If the space race was truly a battle for alien technology, the implications are staggering. Advanced propulsion systems could enable interstellar travel. Revolutionary energy sources could end humanity's reliance on fossil fuels. But in the wrong hands, such technology could become the ultimate weapon, capable of reshaping the balance of power on Earth. So here's the question. If alien technology was found on the moon or anywhere else, would we ever know? Or would it be locked away, its secrets hoarded by those who see it as too dangerous to share with the world? The race for space may have ended, but the race for control never has. What started on the moon may be continuing even now, hidden behind closed doors, funded by black budgets, and driven by a desire not for exploration, but for domination. The question isn't just what they found, it's what they're doing with it, and whether we'll ever be allowed to know. For every theory about alien artifacts and hidden agendas, there are skeptics ready to offer a simpler explanation. Could the stories surrounding the space race, the moon, and extraterrestrial technology be nothing more than a mix of speculation, misinterpretation, and good old-fashioned human imagination? Let's start with the anomalies on the moon. Geologists argue that many of the so-called unnatural structures can be explained by natural processes. The face on the moon, for instance, is often cited as a classic example of pareidolia, the human tendency to see patterns, like faces, where none exist. Shadows cast by jagged terrain at just the right angle can create the illusion of artificial shapes. And as for the hexagonal craters or dome-like features, experts attribute these to meteor impacts and volcanic activity, processes that can create surprisingly symmetrical formations over time. NASA has consistently denied claims of airbrushed photos or missing records. The agency asserts that all lunar images are made publicly available, and that the so-called missing Apollo footage was the result of storage limitations and outdated technology. While these explanations are logical, they leave room for doubt, especially given the government's history of withholding information in the name of national security. And what about the claims of astronauts seeing UFOs? Astronomers suggest that these sightings could be explained by space debris, reflections, or even physiological effects on the eyes caused by prolonged exposure to microgravity. The flashes of light reported by Apollo crews, likely cosmic rays hitting the retina, an experience well documented in space travel. But skeptics can't dismiss the cryptic remarks about bogies and Santa Claus without raising eyebrows. Was it all lighthearted banter, or a veiled way of describing something inexplicable? Buzz Aldrin's supposed admission of UFOs near Apollo 11 has been widely misunderstood. Aldrin himself clarified that what he saw was likely part of the spacecraft that had separated earlier in the mission. As for Edgar Mitchell's bold statements about extraterrestrial life, he based those claims on second-hand accounts from sources he deemed credible, not on anything he personally witnessed during his lunar mission. The theory that the moon might be an artificial structure has also been met with strong scientific pushback. Its composition matches what we would expect from a natural satellite formed from the debris of a massive collision billions of years ago. The hollow moon hypothesis, which arose from seismic experiments conducted during Apollo missions, is explained by the moon's unique crust and mantle structure, which reflects seismic waves differently than Earth does. The idea of alien technology driving the space race is tantalizing, but skeptics argue there's no concrete evidence to support it. Many UFO sightings during the mid-20th century have since been attributed to experimental military aircraft or atmospheric phenomena. The Roswell incident, often cited as proof of alien contact, was later revealed to involve a top-secret U.S. military project called Project Mogul, which used high-altitude balloons to monitor Soviet nuclear tests. Even Bob Lazar's claims, which sparked a firestorm of intrigue, have been met with heavy skepticism. Critics point to inconsistencies in his story and the lack of verifiable evidence supporting his employment at the facilities he describes. While Lazar's account has fueled much of the public fascination with reverse-engineered alien technology, many scientists and engineers dismiss it as fabrication. Still, skeptics face their own challenges. Why, for example, has humanity never returned to the moon? The official explanation, budget cuts, shifting priorities, and the end of the Cold War, makes sense, but it leaves unanswered questions about the long-term value of lunar exploration. And then there's the enduring mystery of UFOs. While many sightings have been debunked, a growing number of credible witnesses, military pilots, radar operators, and even intelligence officials, have described phenomena that defy explanation. The Pentagon's recent admission of ongoing investigations into unidentified aerial phenomena has only deepened the intrigue. So where does that leave us? Are the stories of alien technology and hidden agendas merely products of human imagination, or do they point to something larger, something we've yet to fully understand? Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. Between the official narrative and the wildest conspiracy theories, there exists a gray area, a space where facts and questions blur, and where the lack of transparency from governments and institutions keeps the mystery alive. One thing is certain, the space race wasn't just a moment in history. It was a beginning, a spark that ignited our curiosity and set humanity on a path of discovery. But as we continue to explore the unknown, we must also confront the possibility that some questions may never have simple answers. The space race was a monumental chapter in human history, a testament to our ability to dream, innovate, and push beyond the limits of what seemed possible. It united billions in wonder, gave us new perspectives on our place in the cosmos, and cemented our role as explorers of the unknown. But beneath the surface of that inspiring story lies a labyrinth of questions, questions that refuse to fade with time. Why did the United States and the Soviet Union pour unimaginable resources into reaching the moon during one of the most dangerous periods in modern history? Was it truly just a battle for ideological supremacy, or was it about something else? Something hidden? What of the strange anomalies captured in lunar images? The unexplained sightings reported by astronauts? The whispers of secret objectives and classified discoveries? Could it be that the moon still holds secrets waiting to be uncovered? And if it does, why has humanity not returned? Is it really about budget cuts and shifting priorities, or is there something or someone keeping us away? Consider the timing. The surge in UFO sightings after World War II. The rise of black budget programs and covert military projects. The rumors of advanced technology that defy explanation. The pieces of the puzzle are scattered across decades, and while none provide definitive answers, together they create a picture too compelling to ignore. Some argue the evidence points to humanity's first contact with something beyond our world, while others dismiss it as misinterpretation and myth. But here's the thing, the questions themselves remain. Questions about what we've found, what we've hidden, and what we might still discover. The truth may not be as simple as the official story, or as wild as the conspiracy theories. It may be something in between, something more complex, something that challenges our understanding of history, science, and even our own existence. So now we turn the question to you. What do you believe? Was the space race simply a feat of human ambition, or was it a carefully orchestrated mission to uncover secrets we weren't meant to know? Could the moon still hold answers that could rewrite everything we think we know about our past, our present, and our future? As we stand on the edge of new space frontiers, with plans to return to the moon and eventually reach Mars, these questions take on new significance. If we find something extraordinary, will the truth finally be revealed, or will it be hidden once again? The space race may be over, but the quest for answers has only just begun. What lies beyond the horizon of human understanding? Perhaps one day we'll find out. Until then, keep asking, keep searching, and keep questioning the unknown.